who said, "I don't know what weapons will be used in World War III, but I can tell you what they'll use in the fourth: rocks." Hint: a famous scientist with messy hair said this after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Answer: Albert Einstein. It is common knowledge that Einstein wrote a letter to U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1939, urging him to start a program for developing an atomic bomb. It is a short 2-page letter addressed to Roosevelt on the 2nd of August 1939. Einstein was assisted in writing this letter by Hungarian émigré physicist Leo Szilard. Einstein, Szilard, and other scientists feared that Nazi Germany might win the race to build the first atomic bomb. Having lived in Nazi Germany, Einstein knew very well the dangers of Nazism. By October 1939, Roosevelt wrote back saying that a committee had been set up. Eventually, this committee led to the creation of the Manhattan Project, and between 1942 to 1946, scientists worked to develop and test the first atomic bomb, codenamed Trinity. It was tested on 16th of July 1945 in New Mexico. Later, 2 bombs were dropped on Japan in August 1945. Hiroshima on the 6th of August and Nagasaki on the 9th of August. This much is common knowledge by most people, but there's a second part to this story that is not as well known. By April 1945, Soviet troops stormed Berlin and Germany surrendered. The war in the Pacific still had a few months to go, but it became obvious that Germany was not going to develop an atom bomb. So some of the scientists working in the Manhattan Project started to question the need for further development. At this point, Leo Szilard approached Einstein to write a second letter. Since Einstein did not have security clearance, but he trusted his friend Szilard and his peaceful intentions, Einstein wrote a letter on March 25, 1945 to Roosevelt to introduce Szilard and his concerns. Unfortunately, Roosevelt died on the 12th of April 1945. Szilard sent his letter to the new president, Harry Truman, on the 3rd of July 1945. According to historians, the letter was never forwarded to Truman. It was felt it would interfere with the decision to use the atomic bomb. Whether this decision to withhold the letter is true or not, Truman decided to use the atomic bomb on Japan and teach it a lesson and show the whole world of the U.S. government's power.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped 1 bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won.
A few months later, One World or None was published in 1946. It had essays by Einstein, Szilard, Oppenheimer, and others. The whole book is freely available in PDF format at this address. I'll just focus on Einstein's essay. Einstein outlines 4 points for preventing war. He called his essay The Way Out. As a preface to the 4 points, Einstein says, "It is necessary that conditions be established that guarantee the individual state the right to solve its conflicts with other states on a legal basis and under international jurisdiction." Point number 1, mutually agreed upon inspection of production of offensive weapons, with the awareness that the ultimate goal is the denationalization of military power altogether. Point number 2, This denationalization can be prepared through a steadily increasing interchange of military and scientific technical personnel among the armies of the different nations. The interchange should follow a carefully elaborated plan aimed at converting the national armies systematically into a supranational military force. Einstein was very well aware of national feeling or nationalism, especially in national armies. The strongest military powers could draft the working papers for a supranational security organization and for an arbitration committee, as well as the legal basis for and the precise stipulation of obligations, competencies, and restrictions of the latter with respect to the individual nations. Point number 3, the above-named bodies can now begin to function. The vestiges of national armies can then be either disbanded or placed under the high command of the supranational authority. Point number 4, after the cooperation of the nations of highest military importance has been secured, the attempt should be made to incorporate, if possible, all nations into the supranational organization, provided that it is their voluntary decision to join. Einstein ends his essay with these words: "The task confronting us requires of all concerned the utmost sagacity and tolerance, which can be achieved only through awareness of the harsh necessity we have to face." This may all sound like the imaginings of an old scientist with his head in the clouds, who knows nothing about geopolitics. But, just like John Lennon sang all those years ago, imagination is a very powerful prerequisite for political action.